LIEnette told Judge Craig DeThomasis that I destroyed her turtle rescue. Yet she told the mole that the turtles have nothing to do with their legal issues. So which is it? Did I destroy her turtle rescue? Or this has nothing to do with their legal issues? Remember, she don't lie about anything. Ever. Last we were looking at the conversation between LIEnette and the mole. LIEnette had said that she was blocking the mole. Don't ever contact me again. Well, what do you think happened? Well, there was communication. Of course there was communication. It just never ends with this woman. Ever, unfortunately. You think she would learn her lesson. And now it's all about town hall. Which is interesting considering just a week from today of filming, there's going to be another town hall meeting. So at 7:23 p.m., this is after the town hall meeting, the mole says, no meeting tonight. Don was the only one there. Zim was in the ER. And LIEnette's response is, God is good. God is good. That's her response. God is good. One of the residents of Otter Creek is in the ER. God is good. Now, if anybody said that about LIEnette with John in the ER, she'd say that they were being bullied. She'd say that, you know what, let's not even go there. At least she didn't use God's name in vain this time. Or did she? Well, let's see what else she says. She says they're biding time. Biting. They are breaking the law. Okay. I'm not sure what law is being broken. All right, so let's try and dissect this a little bit. LIEnette, who comes into Otter Creek stalking me, then puts up signs illegally all over Otter Creek about Russ The Suss, about Stewart, about Attorney Worm, about Mary. LIEnette, who posts publicly she wants to fire Mary. That was one of the very first things she was going to do if she got on council. So illegal signs at the post office, illegal signs at Herschel's, illegal sign put in their non-profit property, which now she claims belongs to a child. So is the nonprofit property truly a nonprofit? Or is it owned by a 4-year-old? Well, I don't think those are issues we're ever going to be able to come to a conclusion on here today. But what we do know is that LIEnette and Crook were 100% against Russ The Suss. 100% against Don the Con. 100% Mary. 100% against Attorney Worm. 100% against that administration. As a matter of fact, what did she say about them? They were breaking the law. The whole reason, oh my goodness, they started filming town hall meetings. It wasn't what the Hales that started. Well, honestly, if we go all the way back, the first one we know is Charlene, Russ The Suss's daughter, and her friend who filmed the first town hall meeting. That's the first one we can find on film record. But there could be others. And then LIEnette and Crook come in, and they create these ridiculous political pages, which they're supposed to be a nonprofit. They're not supposed to be for anyone or against anyone. Now, they can be involved in politics, but they cannot communicate for or against anyone. That's the rules in regards to nonprofits. But they go well beyond that. Everybody's breaking the law. It's funny how everybody breaks the law with LIEnette and Crook except them. And yet, how many laws have we seen broken already? I mean, can we just debunked yet again? But now she's claiming the new administration is somehow breaking the law. Because we all know LIEnette's a lawyer now. I mean, she's getting all the practice she could ever ask for in Ohio, in Florida, soon in federal court as well. So LIEnette, who comes into town saying everybody is breaking the law, now there's a new council, and she says they're bidding time, they're breaking the law. And then the mole goes on to say, well, I guess Russ is out because he didn't show tonight. And then goes on to say, that's what they're saying. Now, we've already shared with you what Russ The Suss was up to. And he was up to it with Attorney Worm, trying to get the elections committee to turn something over. To the elections committee, basically, in a nutshell, told Russ The Suss, suck it. You got no authority here. And frankly, Levy County doesn't want the issues with Russ the Suss. He's a big enough issue for Otter Creek, let alone the entire county. So then LIEnette goes to communicate more. Now, I don't get this. I don't get this. The woman who has told the mole so many times never contact her again, and yet is still communicating nonstop. Now, here's what you need to know. LIEnette already knew there was going to be no meeting because Russ the Suss had already communicated that he wasn't going to be there. So, she didn't show. This is the meeting where she didn't break the civil protection order, but in a week, a little over a week, she is actually going to be in Ohio court for breaking the civil protection order, for breaking it willingly, knowingly, for over an hour and a half at the town hall meeting, and Crook as well. And there are other things that they are standing in court for, such as flicking us off in Walmart and communication saying, "So scared," to George. LIEnette goes on to say there wasn't a meeting. They put it out public. They sat the other people. No. So that's a lie? Hold a second. There wasn't a meeting. They put it out public. They sat the other people. So, no, that's a lie. Well, if anybody understands what a lie is, it's got to definitely be LIEnette. I mean, it's part of her name. You know, she doesn't lie. That's the thing. She doesn't lie. Ever! Oh, wait, that's a lie. It's always. So what else is said about this town hall meeting? Well, LIEnette goes on to say, let's reread what you wrote there. Wasn't a meeting because Zim is in the ER. Then you said that Russ is out because he didn't show up. Why would he show up if there was no meeting? Here we go again. How's LIEnette in on the know? How does LIEnette know that Russ the Suss isn't showing up or that there's no meeting? Because she's in constant communication. So here's the issue. LIEnette and Crook come in. Russ the Suss, Mary hate these two. It's Mary that gave them the nickname, and we see it in the 6,000 plus emails of Turtle Boy and Turtle Woman. If you could even call him a boy, and if you could even call her a woman. I would call them Gollum and a troll. You know, you figure out which is which. Oh, and by the way, yeah, Jesus probably would too, with the things that they've done and what they've said. And then he would tell them, repent. And you know what they would say? Oh, I'm proud of the way I raised my kids and fed my kids. And Jesus will say, depart from me. You had your opportunity. Okay, but we're not going to jump into a Bible lesson here because she's the ordained minister that knows everything about the Bible. So she also knows everything about the inner workings now of the town hall meetings because there's illegal conversations happening between her and Russ and Don the Con. Allegedly, my opinion. Do I have to say that? No, but I'm going to throw it in there. We have enough evidence already that Don the Con has been on the property multiple times, having these communications with not only LIEnette and Crook, but also Sharp. Okay? And yes, we got a little mole in there too. But the mole goes on to say, everyone showed up, even the lawyer. What does LIEnette have to say about that? No meeting tonight. Don was the only one there. Zim is in the ER. I guess you said this wrong. I have no idea what in the world LIEnette is trying to say to the mole. I think the mole was very, very articulate in Don showed up, lawyer showed up, Zim has an emergency, so the meeting was canceled. And then LIEnette's just going crazy on the mole again. And then the mole goes on to say Zim had a stroke or a heart attack. So let's see what else. Okay. And she goes on, the mole. Oh, wait. Hold a second. I'm sorry, I said she, meaning LIEnette, but LIEnette did not make the next statement. It was actually the mole that said, that's all Belinda got. They were waiting for Russ and Zim to show, but they didn't. Madam's Mayor's YouTube caught it all live. So we can see more conversation here in regards to this. So Russ the Suss didn't show. And particularly, that was the plan the entire time on Russ The Suss. I mean, I think I could speak intelligently about this. This is not the first time that he has sabotaged a meeting by pulling a no-show. As a matter of fact, he and Don got up out of a meeting, and they left the meeting so that there could be no quorum. A quorum meaning the volume of a group. Okay, so if there's 5 council members, you want to have 3 out of the 5 to vote yes or no so that something can get passed. Well, if it was Zim and Russ and Don, those 3, and Don and Russ run out, that's my ring finger. It's just my ring finger. We'll go with the pinky. Then Zim can't get anything accomplished. So this has been a tactic already played by Russ The Suss and Don the Con. So why would LIEnette be upset if she's trying to claim they're just bidding for time? Isn't that what Don the Con and Russ The Suss did already as well? The topic gets changed to Marlie. LIEnette, Marlie, they're all in the same boat. I mean, frankly, they all think the same. I've said this so many times. Birds of a feather flock together. And so if you want to be a multimillionaire, just find 4 other multimillionaires, and a rising tide raises all ships. You're going to learn from them. You're going to learn how to be successful. You're going to learn what it takes to be a multimillionaire. You're going to learn. If you want to be a rug dealer, guess what? Go find somebody that deals rugs, and go find 4 of them. I guarantee you, you'll be the 5th one. So, in other words, your sphere of influence matters. Very, very much so. You run with the skunks, you're going to smell like the skunk. And I mean that in the aspect of the devil's lettuce and every other way you can think about it. You want to be unsuccessful in life, go find 4 other people to hang out with. And I promise you, their influence will draw you down and make you unsuccessful. You want to be successful in life, go find 4 people to hang out with, and they'll pick you up and make you successful. Birds of a feather always flock together. This is just how it works. It's in our DNA. And so I always caution you. Number 1, make sure you have the right friends and influences. It's extremely important. Number 2, make sure you listen to the right voices that always give proof. That's extremely important, because you don't want to be on the other side that is legally liable. You don't want to be on the other side that looks like a fool. You don't want to be on the other side like LIEnette. My mom died. My mom didn't die. I never lie, ever, right? So Marlie and LIEnette, who have never met in person yet, still to this day, they have never met in person, is the topic of conversation now, where the mole says, Marlie is going to get you in a ton of trouble. Remember, court proceedings are already on here. As a matter of fact, we already looked at a message beforehand that LIEnette even acknowledges, oh, I can't speak about that anymore. I'm going to have somebody else post because it's third-party contact. So the mole is actually pushing LIEnette here, or encouraging LIEnette. Marlie is going to get you in trouble with what she posts. 8, no, I know it's supposed to say I know. I know you said she isn't part of your case, but every time she says something, it's looking bad for you and may be held responsible. She went after someone posting about something personal, and it could be used against you. And then what does LIEnette want? Can you show me what you're talking about? I'm shocked she didn't go, can you show me what you're freaking talking about? It's a freaking free tablet. One of our favorite phrases. That would be a good t-shirt right there. Freaking free tablet. Man, somebody should make some money on that. And then the mole says, yes, just a moment. Let me go to my screenshots. So are we truly going to believe that LIEnette doesn't know what Marlie Hughes is posting? Considering that LIEnette has already previously stated that she was going to have somebody post on her behalf, third-party contact. LIEnette knows what's going on. She's playing dumb again. Remember? Sending messages, deleting messages. Sending messages, deleting messages. Don't contact me again. Talking. Don't contact me. Talking. Block, unblock. Block, unblock. I don't lie. Okay. So what happens is there are a bunch of groups out there, and Marli Huge actually post in one of these groups, and Marli is in a bunch of trouble herself. JD is not going to be able to save her from it. She has no idea what's about to happen in federal court with her. But, she'll probably use the excuse she couldn't get out the front door. Marli Huge says, "Good Lord, Tina used her dead son profile to stalk MP through me." All right, hold a second. Let's just try and understand this insanity. This is the exact same excuse for a woman, because I would never call her a woman. This is the exact same excuse for a woman who claims that the private investigator has been following her, has been parked outside of her house, and she just smiles and waves. There's never been a private investigator. She's a fool in her own mind. And now she's saying that somebody is creating a profile through somebody's dead son Facebook to stalk LIEnette through her. And if you didn't understand any of that, I don't blame you. Birds of a feather flock together. They're freaking insane. It's a freaking free tablet. They're freaking insane. So these two probably get along together really perfect. They are not okay in the head. The rest of us who actually have brains can't understand any of it. And so Marli goes on to say, "Guys, get better at the bots you're using. Tina, Ernie's dead. And if you're not Becky and I'm not responding to message requests from people I don't know, or from someone pretending to be somebody else." All right, so we've got the exact same type of grammar, punctuation, the same everything. I mean, these two. I mean, I'm shocked Marli Huge isn't running a tortoise rescue yet. Birds of a... Wait, I'm sorry. Turtles of a shell all belong in... They all smell. Okay. All right, and then the mole says it was a few days ago. Going after someone like this is not okay. Particularly addressing, hey, this person and this profile is supposedly passed away, and now how low can Marli go? We're not talking calories here. Oh my goodness. We're talking about the aspect of this is supposed to be somebody who's dead. And then LIEnette says, "I don't understand how you think her posting can get me in trouble." Well, that's pretty easy. Third-party contact. I mean, she's under a civil protection order. So is Crook. I'd say that's extremely easy to understand. But, again, I have that curse called common sense. Some of you are cursed with it as well. And she says, the mole goes on to say, not the mole, I was misread again, which is easy to do when you're filming. By the way, I make mistakes, believe it or not. Some are intentional, some aren't. That one was not intentional because I thought it was LIEnette's paragraph next, but it's not. It's the mole's. "Since they know you talk and all, just be careful." So the mole is telling LIEnette, you need to be careful. And LIEnette says, now keep in mind, LIEnette has already told the mole to block, to never contact her again. You and I talk, so does that mean anything? You say I can get in trouble for? Let's see. So she's talking to the mole, even though how many times has she told the mole not to contact her anymore? How many times has she claimed that the mole is feeding me information? Which I want to be very, very clear. This mole has not fed me any information. This mole has fed all of this information to my lawyer appropriately through the system, and then it has been sent to me for my documentation as well. So this mole has fed me nothing. This mole was required to give everything for court, and this mole will be giving testimony against LIEnette in court. So then the mole goes on to say, well, they might think you told her to do it, or one of your other people. I'm just trying to keep you out of that mess. only about court stuff. Now, why would the mole say this? Because LIEnette already mentioned that she was going to have somebody post stuff on her behalf. This has been going on for quite some time. George and I are well aware of it. Our legal team is well aware of it. The courts will be well aware of it. So she goes on to say, I'm sorry, I said her again. It's not LIEnette. It is the mole. Anything about the case is a no-talk zone. I was just trying to help, not get you in trouble and have it backfire on you. I mean, the mole is literally trying to help LIEnette as if anybody could. And let's be honest. The only person that has ever got LIEnette to stop her mouth has been Silver Scam. And even at that, not for very long, what will happen, and this is my opinion, I have no proof to back this up, but we already know that LIEnette tests positive for certain rugs. She has posted those tests, okay? And so it's obvious because she's posted it, she tests positive for those things. And what it appears to me, which just happened a couple nights ago again, is that she will actually be on these, let's just say she be tripping. It appears to me, in my opinion, that she's on this trip, and then she'll just post, and then, like she did a couple days ago, and then she delete, and then she'll tell a judge, I only use my page to post Christian things and Bible verses. I don't lie. That's the thing. Ever. Okay. You guys just want to with me debunked? I mean, come on. We've already seen it. You've seen so much already. You've seen so much already. I mean, the reality that this woman would ever say that she doesn't lie, or that she would go in court and say, you can look at my page right now, and then the Ohio judge say, I don't care what's on the page now. I care what was on the page before you deleted it. Okay. All right. So then LIEnette goes on to say, she says, someone doesn't mean... This one is cut off a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit hard to understand, but this is LIEnette. Doesn't mean she's my employee or works for me or posts for me or does anything else for me just because I know you. Doesn't mean you post on my behalf. No. What means that she posts on her behalf is that she had already told the mole she was going to have somebody post on her behalf. We've already looked at all those messages. Pretty easy, right? Doesn't mean she's my employee, doesn't work for me, doesn't post for me, doesn't do anything for me. Wait, hold a second. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's put a little common sense in it. LIEnette, yet again, in court, stating that the planet does my bidding. The planet does my work. The planet is to... anything they say, anything they do, I should be held responsible for. Right? You've seen it in court. I've seen it in court. And yet here's LIEnette clearly telling the mole that she is not responsible for anybody or any post. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't work that way. The same as she cannot bring a court case and then claim the fifth or plead the fifth. It doesn't work that way. You get one or the other. So if she's claiming she's not held responsible for everybody, then I can't be held responsible for everybody. The planet, the planet. Now, wait. LIEnette isn't the one that gets to make those decisions? Because Judge Grudge, de Thomasis, de Biases, is claiming that I can be held responsible for the planet. Which then means if that ever carries on successful, LIEnette will be held responsible for the planet. Everything Crook has done, everything Marley has done, everything Judith C. has done, everything that Lizzie has done, everything that Paul has done, everything. Do you get it? She's guilty. If I'm guilty, LIEnette is guilty. I'm sure you understand that. This is just common sense. Birds of a feather flock together. You have common sense. I have common sense. So we all get it. So would LIEnette really, I mean, you seriously have to think about this. Would LIEnette really want Judge Thomasis to find me guilty? Because if he finds me guilty, he has then set a precedent in the state of Florida, which then I go back and I find her guilty. You get it? Well, would she really care right now since she's already guilty in the state of Ohio? Not to mention the corrupt system in Levy County anyway. And then the mole goes on to say, this girl is questioning who all is behind it because she's so mad. And can I tell her you had nothing to do with it? Well, LIEnette goes on to say, I'm not on social media for a reason. Because Silver Scam told her to stop. I'm not on social media for a reason. I do not do anything for a reason. I already know who you're talking about, and she's not mad at me in any shape, way, or form. Wait, hold a second. So LIEnette's saying she's not on social media, she doesn't post, and she's doing nothing for a reason, but she knows all about the scenario and the situation. She already knows about the woman. She already knows that the female isn't mad at her. LIEnette knows everything, which then again proves third-party communication. You get it, right? LIEnette is in the know. She's in the know with Russ The Suss and Don the Con. She's in the know with this lady that is supposedly mad, but now LIEnette's saying she's not mad because LIEnette's communicating, which LIEnette has begged the planet to communicate with her. She's blocked and unblocked this mole how many times? LIEnette begs for the communication. All right. And then the mole goes on to say, no, she isn't. She's mad at Marli. So in other words, okay, the mole says to LIEnette, this female is upset with you. And LIEnette says, I know exactly who the female is, and she's not upset with me. The mole corrects it and says, no, she's mad at Marli. And LIEnette has already said, I know everything that's going on. Oh, and what does that prove? That LIEnette is having Marli post third-party communication. Can we all say it together? On three. 1, 2, 3. Debunked. Yet again, with the superior intellect, the massive amount of intelligence that just exudes from LIEnette's filthy mouth. Man, I mean, if I ever wanted to get smart like her and, Doogie Howser, high school and college, she's the one. Except she lied to you all. All right, LIEnette goes on to say, I'm sorry, but I'm driving right now, and Carly, this is pretty funny because she's driving right now, and instead of Harley, it says Carly. So, what do we know true about the state of Florida? It is illegal to drive and text. All right? So, what is LIEnette doing? Number one, she is driving, which, by the way, during the same amount of time, she almost hit Madam Mayor and her husband, Brett, in Chiefland. She was swerving all over the road. Why? Because she's doing this on the road. So LIEnette goes on, I'm sorry, but I'm driving now, and Carly and I just went and got some groceries and a couple of other things we needed, and I really can't text. Except, yeah, right there, bottom line, you see that? I really can't text. Except she is. She's breaking the law yet again. Hold a second. Didn't we start out with it was illegal? What Zim was doing and the new council was illegal? Where is it that LIEnette's going to claim what she's doing, texting while she's driving with a child in the car, is illegal? Do you see it in here? I don't. Oh, but you know what she does do? She texts more. She literally does not stop. She says she has to stop, but she doesn't. She goes on to say, trust me, I've already talked to Tina. I can't control other adults. I can't control what anyone does. Oh, by the way, this message will be used in the Florida courts. So LIEnette's trying to say in the Florida courts that I control everybody, that I'm responsible what the planet does. And yet LIEnette's saying here, trust me, I've already talked to Tina. I can't control what others do. I can't control what anyone does. And she goes on to say, I am not the president. I'm not joking. She literally said that. When could the president control what somebody says or does? Okay, so apparently LIEnette is under control of the president. So I guess what I'm going to have to do with Judge Craig DeThomas is I'm going to have to sue Joe Biden. Because now Joe Biden is responsible for everything LIEnette has done. Because LIEnette isn't going to take responsibility for anything. So apparently she's under the mass amount of control of Joe Biden, the president. And LIEnette is not the president. I'm not, for the first time, here we go. I'm not God. I'm not God. I'm not anyone. I'm just 62-year-old mom trying to raise her daughter. Are you guys hearing the epic music right now? The newest What the Hales movie. Otter Creek. No. Otter Freaks 2. She's not the president. She's not God. She's just 62-year-old mom trying to raise her daughter in Otter Freaks 2. The mole goes on to console LIEnette. I know, you might want to have a talk with Marley and not post anything about you anymore. I totally understand. I'm trying to raise a kid. Me, I'm too sick to even think about running after a kid. I give you credit for that one. Now, the mole here is sharing that there are some ailments. Now, if there's one thing we have heard from LIEnette over and over again, she can't lift even a gallon of milk, yet she drops it like it's hot nonstop. She calls Channel 20 and is holding a child, no problem. I'm curious, if this disability has anything to do with the back, how in the world are all these things getting done? I have a feeling we're not getting the entire truth. Oh, but she doesn't lie ever. She doesn't tell the truth ever. That's the reality of it. And so, what is a 62-year-old woman with all kinds of ailments, with abusive ex-husband, number 7, as if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 weren't enough, taking on animals that she can't take care of either, always begging for help with food for them. When the Levy County Sheriff comes out, says, we don't even know where our next meal is coming from. What type of person then goes, yep, we're going to take in a life-threatening conditioned child? You already know the answer. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. And it's horrific. It's disgusting. It's beyond disgusting. And so the conversations continue on, as I'm sure you know that LIEnette was not about to stop talking at all, right? I mean, the blocks, the unblocks. Oh my goodness, here we go. So many screenshots. All right. And it says, the mole says, it's crazy. Someone wrote, you all need Jesus. Meaning that LIEnette and Crook need Jesus. And here we go. I have Jesus. I'm sorry, but an individual like her shows no fruit. Now, you understand in the Bible, Jesus is speaking. Jesus spoke in parables, and parables are stories that have a teachable moment at the end. Okay, and we have this whole aspect of you will know them by their fruit. Okay. And so many Christians actually quote that and say, you'll know them by their fruit, meaning Christians. You'll know the Christians by their fruit. And I think you can pull some of that application out there. But what's actually being addressed? It's actually evildoers. You will know them by their fruit. In other words, bad person, bad fruit. Now, we can pull out further application. You have to understand, with the Bible, there's one interpretation, many applications. So when we're talking about you will know them by their fruit, those are the evildoers. Those are the bad people. You will know them by their fruit. Bad people, bad fruit. Rotten people, rotten fruit. Rotten LIEnette, rotten teeth, rotten fruit in the back, and food in the back for all the Levy County deputies. It's pretty easy. Now, I'm going to be the first to tell you that LIEnette needs Jesus. Crook needs Jesus. We all need Jesus. And I think it's funny that anybody who goes, he's not a Christian, Jeremy's not a Christian, he said this, did that. My goodness, look at your own life. If you want to sit there and say Jeremy's not a Christian, he did this and did that, look at what you have done in your own life. I'm just a person that goes, I'm so bad, I do need Jesus because I can't do it on my own. That's how messed up I am. You're an individual that is messed up, knows you're messed up, but don't want to claim you need Jesus. You want to claim you don't need any help at all. So she's on the right track here. Do I think she has Jesus? No, but she's on the right track. She definitely needs Jesus. She says, I have Jesus. I started to read again daily. I just haven't had time. I don't get this. The only thing this woman does have is time. She doesn't know where her next meal is coming from, but during the middle of the night, while she's driving, all she's doing is communicating via social media. The only thing she has is time. And she says, but I do a Christian journal. Wait, hold a second. She just said she didn't have time. And games about the Bible and my Bible verses on my coloring books. I know you think I'm joking. I'm not. LIEnette's doing coloring books with Bible verses, if you can believe her, because remember, she doesn't lie, ever. And then she goes on, I think it's funny, too, that nobody is saying any post from me. Nobody is seeing any post from me. Why is that funny? How is that funny? Because LIEnette actually has Marla posting for her as third-party contact? I don't think that's funny. I think that's pathetic. So here you have LIEnette saying, I have Jesus. I'm getting back into Bible reading. I'm actually journaling. I'm doing coloring books. I'm not sure how coloring books are going to help with your relationship with God, but hey, to each their own. And then she goes on, I think it's funny. Nobody's seen posts for me. She's literally admitting third-party contact. She's breaking the law. Wouldn't that be sin? You know what? That would be, because we are told by Jesus himself that we are to submit ourselves to the authorities of the law in which we live. So if I have an issue with LIEnette posting signs up, 9 of them, double-sided, saying that I am a child rapist, the law tells me I take that to federal court for defamation. So what I'm doing, and this is the best part, those people that go, oh, Jeremy calls himself a Christian, how dare he go into court? I'm submitting myself to the authority which Jesus told me to actually care for these issues. Go figure. I think a lot of people should shut their mouths until they actually know what they're talking about. And there's so many that don't. And LIEnette's one of them, because she's saying, I think it's funny that nobody has seen any posts from me. No one's seen any thumbnails or memes or cruel or hurtful things. I don't call people fat or ugly or old or poor. No. She just states that I go after everybody that's fat, ugly, and poor. Crook has stated that all What the Hale's followers are fat, ugly women. Should we go on? I mean, I could keep going on and on and on and on. I could show you the signs she's made. You know, she calls people child rapist. That's what she does. She literally says that somebody from Ohio rapped her daughter, who was 3 at the time, and yet there was no police report. Go figure. No, she goes, she ups the ante beyond that. And I'm not the first she's done this to. I am way down the line of who she's done this to. But now she's proud and thinks it's funny that nobody's seeing this. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of screenshots. She's already done it. Silver Scam told her to stop. We already have the information. Oh, they're not going to see it in court. They already have seen it in court. All right, so where's all of that? Because there's none. Because I'm not doing that. There's only one side doing that. That's odd, because there was one side doing that for a year and a half, patiently. We just watched. We ignored it. Patiently. We already showed you the incident that was happening. George and I were traveling the world. We were in Hawaii, and Crook pulls out a firearm on Chad. Patiently, until we can't take it anymore. You poke a bear, don't complain and whine and cry when it swipes you back. There are so many people out there that are crying that they're a victim when they are the ones, their actions brought them these consequences. The entitlement of this culture is sickening. Everybody thinks they're entitled to do anything they want with anything they want to anyone they want. And LIEnette falls right in this. I'm not doing that because there's only one side doing that. I challenge people to show me where I'm acting ungodly. Okay, well, how about all the screenshots we already shown? How about where you said that Crook never pulled out a firearm on anybody? And yet he did. Town hall meeting night. Lies! Oh, wait. God equates the tongue of a liar with witchcraft. She says she has Jesus, though. All right, let's keep going. I'll challenge people to show me where I'm acting ungodly because I've done nothing. Nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. She's got a nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. Let me emphasize it one more time. Nothing. Nothing. Do you realize that we've been found innocent? Okay, well, let me show you where she's been ungodly. You see this? We've been found innocent of all of this. All right, that's a pathological lie. She's been found guilty by the state of Ohio. She has civil protection orders on her, both John and her. Now, not only that, they have continually violated, broke the law of the civil protection orders. What happened? They've both been found guilty on that. In just over a week, actually 9 days, they will be in court in Ohio again. Guess what? They're going to be found guilty of that. Now, I struggle knowing that this was written after all these court proceedings and her telling somebody that she has Jesus, she's done nothing wrong, and she's been found innocent, when it's obvious she's been found guilty. Not once, not twice, many times, and many more coming. I've been found innocent of all of his charges. Right there. I've been found innocent of all of his charges. Interesting. Let's see what else she has to say or lie about. By the sheriff department, all of them. We have not been found guilty of anything. This just seems appropriate right now. Debunked. 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 Yet he's taken it, went around to the sheriff's department, to the Ohio courts, live to them. I think it's supposed to say live. To the Ohio courts, lived to them, and got charges brought against us. But I'm not worried about that either. We'll fix that. Oh no. Oh no. They're gonna... She's gonna fix it. Is that a threat? But I challenge all of these fans saying we're doing all of these things. Why would you challenge? I mean, it's pretty evident. All the evidence is right there. We actually have the screenshots, the timeline, the evidence. It's there. All the proof is there. But I challenge all these fans saying that we're doing these things. So, for example, there are those out there that would say, she has no idea. She believes her own lies. No, she doesn't. She absolutely does not believe her own lies. She went on and posted, I don't know how many times, George could tell you because George has all the screenshots, that she told George to get the F off of her property. Okay, so how many times does she post that? Many of you have already seen it. We've shown it. You saw it when she posted it. She went on to tell everybody, she told George, get the F off her property. I told George, get the F off my property. And then in court, when she's questioned about it, no, I didn't say that. I told her it's time for you to go. Oh, so she believes her own lies? Because when she's actually approached with the lie in court, she didn't follow up with the lie. The lie didn't continue. She knows when she's lied. She absolutely does not believe her own lies. Now, she spins the lies out of control, but she does not believe her own lies. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's constantly lying about it, and she's doing it intentionally and on purpose. And she has every mental capacity to change it. She does not believe it. She knows what she said, and she knows what she's done, and she refuses to stop. But I challenge all these fans saying we're doing all these things. Where's the proof? I'm literally showing it right now. Because I have the video of me going to the post office. Oh, that she was found guilty of. By the way, that was guilty. which was very funny because if you remember in Ohio court, she begged to actually submit it as evidence, which was my video of her breaking the civil protection order. How stupid can these two be? There's a real video, not the Photoshop edited video. There's only one video. It was on YouTube. She screenshotted my video from YouTube. Okay, not the Photoshop edited video. How are you going to Photoshop? This woman is so stupid. She doesn't even know how Photoshop works. Photoshop is for a picture. Photoshop is not for a video. Photoshop edited video, the real video, and I gave it to the judge and the sheriff. I never looked into the other part of the post office. She looked straight in George's eyes. And on her car, I never saw it. She parked right next to George's car. And neither did the witness, except there were multiple witnesses that all saw it and recorded it. And by the way, there was a witness and he talked to the police. Oh, really? That's why I was found innocent, period. No, she was found guilty. She's literally saying this stuff. There was a witness and talked to the police. That's why she was found innocent, period. There's that whole period thing again. Period! Pretty sure LIEnette at her age at 62 doesn't know what a period is. Definitely doesn't know how to use one. And he talked to the police. Now, the only witness there, that was Captain Dan Shannon, who is a former council member and a resident of Otter Creek. And he would literally sleep through the council meetings. That is not a joke. You can go back and look at them. And I have a feeling that I already know Dan will not get involved in any controversy. I struggle, truly struggle, thinking that Dan would ever talk to any of the sheriff. I think what he would do is say no, and he would go home. But I don't have that information. And then LIEnette goes on to say, but I challenge these people. Show me where are these things that I've done, because they can't. Because we're not done yet. Because there are none. They are